Very, very good evening, friends. We are back after 2 months. This evening is going to be a very thrilling session between two immensely talented women, author, theatre personality, Devika Das, who has written Meghna, which is a publication in Hindi, and she will be in conversation with Madhubanti Roy Chowdhury. Viewers expect a very, very exciting session. And before I hand it over to Madhubanti, I will quickly introduce the two of them. Let's start with Devika. Devika Das is an award winning author and actor. She pursues her passion for writing and theatre in Hyderabad. Devika's latest title, The Climate Ninja, published by Merlinwand, is a children's book and has been well appreciated by parents and children. Her book, The Mind Game, is a national bestseller and is now available at bookstores in London. She has recently published a Hindi short story titled Meghna with Blue Rose Publishers. On March 27, 2022, she became a part of a world record in theatre created by Nishumbita School of Drama. She has won the National Award for Short Films Waterman and The Silent Voice, directed by Anshul Sinha. Devika has been invited as a speaker for many national literary festivals, TED circles, and also judged several competitions organized by schools and colleges. Currently, she's working as a content strategist for an IT company in Hyderabad. Thank you, Devika. What should I say? You've become a family, a
Thank
member
you.
of the Readers and Writers Club almost. So thank you
Thank you.
once again for being with us today and have a very, very good session in the next 50 minutes or so.
Thank you, Mona
Today's
and Shushruta, for inviting me.
You are most welcome. Today's moderator, Madhubanti Roy Chowdhury, is the founder of Participatory Publishing Praxis, an alternative publishing initiative based on participatory dialogue and development in communities and groups distanced from mainstream media and print circuits. Her community published projects includes her engagement with the Potachitrakars of Naya in Mednipur, women idol makers of Kolkata's Kumotuli, and with the Park Circus protesters in 2020. Madhubanti has participated in literary festivals and exhibited her work at SRFTI, Prilla Academy, etc. A book editor by training, Madhubanti has also translated Abanindranath Thakur's Shakuntala into English. Presently, she is translating Kobi Nojrul Islam's Shama Shongit and working on a collection of prose poems of her own. Thank you, Madhubanti. Best of luck to you and wishing you a hugely successful conversation with Devika on her book, Meghna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mona. Thank you, Devika. Thank you, members of the audience. Let us begin our conversation for today. Here we are, as I see it, about to have a conversation about conversations. Because Meghna, the book by Devika here, Devika Das, that we're going to be talking about now, as I see it, actually unfolds as a sequence of conversations in the shape and form of an interview. This interview is between Meghna Sahai. I'm just introducing the story a little bit for context for our readers. So this interview is between Meghna Sahai, a theatre actor, primary protagonist of our book, and Sanjay Upadhyay, who is the editor of a publication, Rajbhasha, and also by his own admission, an admirer of Meghna's stagecraft. So, Devika, my question to you, was this conversational structure of the book a conscious narrative choice on your part? And if so, why?
Yes, it was a conscious decision to make it a conversation because I am comfortable writing in non-fiction. My first book was a non-fiction book on emotional intelligence, and I wanted to try my hand at fiction. So I thought, let's make it conversational because it would have taken a lot of time to attend a workshop on fiction writing and then write the book. And the thought was fresh in my mind, and all my poems were ready. So I wanted to like they say in Bengali, tosh hocchilo na. So like I could
Okay.
not wait. I could not wait for it. So I said, okay, the best is let it be a conversation between a theater veteran artist and a journalist, and then let's see how I write, whether the readers write like my writing style in fiction or not. So it was basically an experiment. So yes, yes,
So the book sort of charted its own course, and here we are. Yeah,
yes,
yeah. Okay. Um, yeah. So actually, my next question would have been about the poems, which I sort of found in the prose narrative. They sort of, the way I saw it, the way I read it, it was like they sort of punctuated the prose narrative. You know. And another thing that I noticed about the poems is it's like they are conversations, as you said, but sort of conversations in your own mind, with sort of imagined interlocutors, your readers. So it's as if not only is the conversation happening between the two protagonists, the two characters, but it's like you having a conversation with your readers,
yes,
in the shape of the book. Yeah. So so as you said, these poems were also, so they came first, right? And you
yes,
wrote the narrative around those poems. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Okay. So that sort of explains the structure of the book. Yeah. Um, okay. So my next question, or rather my next observation. So when I was reading your book, the first thing that I noticed was that there are multiple journeys in this book. Okay. Across time, space. Now, some of these journeys are non-linear, unstructured, like reveries, the memory of the protagonist Meghna, the reveries she goes into. But all of these are this non-linear, these meanderings are sort of embedded in a linear journalistic interview. So I kind of found the form very interesting because it's a combination of you sort of move in and out of the two different modalities of narrative. So what I feel is, so there are journeys on multiple levels. So you have the journey of the protagonist Meghna as a theater artist and as a woman. But as I read on and as I went a little deeper, I sort of sensed a secret undertone, like of the author Devika Das. Your journey as an artist and a woman was always somewhere, it was subtly, but it was like surely steering the story. So, do you think, I mean, this is just a thought in my mind, which I frame as a question. So, do you think there's some sort of an unsevered umbilical cord here, between author and character, between fiction and lived experience, between Meghna Sahai and you, Devika Das? So, do you think there's
Yes,
a connection?
very nice observation, and I must say,
Thank you.
very apt observation because This is something a lot of the readers have told me that those who know me personally and those who know my journey as an author and a theater artist, they say they could find resemblance between Meghna and Devika. So
Okay.
I feel somewhere or the other, see, like I'm a very natural writer and a realist actor.
Okay.
So for me, what comes naturally, I pen it down. So
Okay.
the natural emotions are caught on paper. So I think somewhere or the other, my whole journey as a writer, because the writer journey began only in 2018, whereas the actor journey began in 2002. So I think both and my interest in creative arts as a whole. I think that has influenced Meghna, because I feel creative arts has liberated me, and I have evolved as a person. I have elevated in the circle of life, as they say. Like many people tell me, you are a source of positive energy. How do you do that? So I think creative arts has helped me
Your
find
smile says
myself.
that too. Yeah.
Thank you.
The
Yeah.
joyousness with which
So,
you smile, yes,
thank you.
I should think
Thank
so.
you. So that is what the people say, that that this radiance, somewhere or the other, it is because of the creative arts that you pursue, and I wanted to exhibit that in my book through Meghna.
Okay. Okay. Um, the other thing that I noticed as I was reading was the cover. Would you like to discuss the cover? Okay.
The cover has
So,
been, yeah. You can
yeah.
you can finish your question. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was trying to hold up the for everybody to see the book, you know, and
Yeah.
so it's been done by Chintan Gandhi, right? Yeah, and so is he acquainted with you? Does he know about your journey, or this is his, like his own response to the narrative?
So Chintan is my online friend. Like, we used to have pen pals, right? So
Okay. Yes.
during the pandemic, I joined a lot of online forums and
Mm-hmm.
communities of artists, where I met Chintan, and we were just discussing about the idea. He was impressed by the mind game, and he wanted to know what am I writing next. And when I discussed the idea with him, he said he is a graphic designer, and he would like to experiment with the cover. I said, very good. It is a very good opportunity for me as well to work with a graphic designer. Otherwise, I would have to rely on the publisher for the cover design.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
then we exchanged notes, and my first draft itself gave the birth of this cover design. And I like he had submitted about six options, but this one was very appealing to me, and it was like, if you see, there are wrinkles on one half,
Yeah, I'll
and one
hold it
half
up.
and one half is beauty. So basically, the shades of life. Everything is not life also has its ups and downs, and the
Yes.
protagonist also goes through her ups and downs in her journey as a theater artist, which has been, and as a woman, which has been beautifully conveyed by the cover.
Yeah. In fact, the fact that you're saying this is sort of also what I felt. You have this web pattern. It's almost like a mask superimposed upon the face.
Yes.
These undulations, these contours. Yeah, almost
Yes.
like a map. That's the way it
Yes.
sort of came across to me. Yeah. Okay. Um, okay. So now we return to the narrative. So from the very beginning, as the storyline unfolds, the way I saw it, I see a dichotomy, and quite a strong one at that. So, between this idea or this ideal of theater as a pursuit of artistic perfection, and on the other hand, we have this idea of theater, this common perception of theater as manoranjan, as fakiri, as beggary, as penury, as bhik mangna on the streets. So, be it Meghna's father lecturing her on her inappropriate and unwomanly choice of profession, or be it Sanjay's mother who reprimands him, and talks him out of his brief tryst with theater. So so if we see it, so we read the narrative in this way, we see that Meghna's journey is also a journey of resistance against patriarchal constructs of life, and of familial traditional expectations and norms. Uh, but the real twist in the tale for me is when she at some point herself exiles, she herself exiles herself from the stage, and that she does when she's at the zenith of her career. So my question, why does she inflict upon herself? The same damage that she's fought so long and so hard to resist, when it came from her family and the rest of the world, and she defied everybody and everything, to earn the right, her agency to take up theater as a life's work. So why does she do this to herself in the end? Why does she deny herself in leaving the stage? Why do you think that happens in the story?
Very
Why
good
does
question. Very good question.
no? I mean,
I will allow you to complete. Yeah.
no, that's all. I mean, just
Okay.
share my observation with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So very good observation, and I would say that see, what happens is the life of an artist is very wavering. It is not a straight line.
No.
It is not a very stable career. Like, if I take my example, I am also working. I have a regular day job, along with which I pursue the passion for writing and theater.
Okay.
I don't know whether I would have had the same kind of love or passion if theater would have been my source of income.
I
I,
see.
I can't say that right now. I don't
But for
know the
Meghna,
answer.
that is your
Because
character. That is
I think every artist, I think, has this dilemma, whether you pursue it as a full-time option or do you sacrifice. But where Meghna stands is basically, uh, after a point of time, you realize that there is some void left in your life. That is what happens when Pratik leaves. She
yes.
feels she feels that, what have I done for such a long time? Have I really ignored the being of a human being, or like, have I ignored my feminine desires? So all those questions make her leave the career, make her leave the acting career, because I think somewhere or the other, okay, whatever fame, recognition an artist gets, after all, it is a lonely journey. you
Yes, it
you you
is.
are walking your path alone. I won't say lonely. Lonely is a wrong word.
It's
I
a
will say
solitary
you are
journey.
walking your path alone.
Yes.
And even if somebody wants to come into your life,
That
uh,
doesn't happen.
there are a lot of artists I have seen who are single, but and feel empty inside. That
Okay.
emptiness, that emptiness which gives the creative, which ignites the creativity. I think
Hmm.
somewhere that also comes into play in the mind of a human being,
Hmm.
which triggered Meghna to leave acting, because especially after Pratik goes out of her life.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Um, yeah, I mean, by definition, I would think that the journey is solitary. I don't think you can really share your inner life with everybody around you, even if they're very close to you. And yet, there is this desire for human comradeship, this desire for human community, which is at the heart of every human being, I think. Yeah. So again, returning to our narrative. So the other polarity which I noticed, is between the public and the private in the book. Public and the private begins, uh, the novella, if I may call it that. It begins with a very public proclamation of Meghna's prowess as an actress, the recognition, the accolade that she receives. And the narrative itself follows the line of a journalistic interview. So so we have the question at the very beginning, or the first page of the book, I believe, which is like, "Puchta hai Bharat, Meghna hai kahan?" You know, almost like a TV breaking news question. And yet, Meghna, once we start, living in Meghna's world, we start walking in her footsteps. She herself inhabits an almost like an impregnable private world that she's loath to step out of. And in fact, her home is like a citadel, almost like a citadel. For example, when Sanjay comes for his first visit, to her home, and she comes upon him examining the photographs hanging in the hall, and she's very uncomfortable. Her discomfiture is at a scrutiny is palpable, although it's a friendly gaze, but for her it's an outsider's gaze, and that makes her clearly uncomfortable. And again, at another moment in the narrative, she says that is it even wise to expose her inner life, to the probing gaze? And to her, it's almost like an indecent act, like reading a private letter, an intimate letter in public. So, as a writer, what does this contrast between public and private, these two worlds, private and public worlds, what does this split signify to you? The split between the
Uh,
private and the public worlds.
there is a very big difference between the private life and the public life of an artist. I will say, even as a writer, I have a public life also. I have a private life also. People of these two worlds do not converge. The ones who know me in my private life are they know about the public life as well, but they are also the ones who will show me the mirror and say that don't fly too high, please come and stay grounded. So I think that is a very small cohort of people who have earned that place
Mm-hmm.
in my life, besides family, besides my
Okay.
parents. Other than my parents, there is a small cohort of people which has this kind of, I will say, command on my life, that if they show me the mirror and ask me to stay grounded, I don't feel bad. But obviously, there is a difference between when I am a public figure and what I am in my private life. Yeah. I must say that now, with the world of social media, I think everybody has a public presence and a private presence. But
It's a
for me,
performance at some
yes,
level.
yes, and but for me, it is like I am not faking up anything. But
Yeah.
yes, how much private information goes out, that I decide. That I decide. Yeah.
So you're basically the gatekeeper to your own life,
I
right?
am the gatekeeper to my life. Yes, yes.
I think that is the way it should be, with issues of privacy and uh,
It is very necessary. It is very necessary because now there is a lot. There are a lot of people who are inspired by celebrities, who want to live the same life as a celebrity or a public figure does, but they don't know what goes in the background.
yes, the hard
So
work.
that is one of the main objectives of writing Meghna. That okay, you might be seeing the external appearance of the artist or the celebrity, but you don't know what goes behind the scenes.
The personal struggles and
Personal struggle. That's
and the
why I
labor, the
always tell
discipline.
even aspiring writers, I tell them that you must understand the journey of the author and not just see the end point, not just see the book that has been published, see the struggle that has gone in order to become an author.
Yeah. So you have to be cognizant of the process as well, not just the
Yes,
product, not
yes.
just the end result. Yeah. So speaking of contrasts, there is another interesting contrast that Meghna herself points out. When she talks about her peers and mentors, calling her a natural actor, but strangely, her own understanding of her talent, of her gift, is as prowess. It is a continually, unconsciously, ever evolving skill that that she has to kind of a craftsmanship that she's developing. And she also makes a statement in the book that one cannot really afford complacency, to think of himself or herself as perfectly accomplished in the medium. अभिनेत्री होना इतना आसान नहीं है, she tells Sanjay. So, as an accomplished actress yourself, I think my question would have been, do you agree? But I think you already, in a way. answered me. But if you have anything more to say in this context, then please go ahead and share with our readers
I
what goes into.
I would say that I refer to myself as a work in progress.
Yes.
All the achievements, all the accomplishments that I have been awarded or revered with, I it like I said, my friends, my close private friends are the ones who make help me stay grounded, and they tell me that whatever you have done, it is a milestone that you have created, and you should do much better next time. So that's why I call myself a work in progress, because art is evolving very rapidly, and every day it is
Yes. Yes.
evolving. You can't say there is a typical form of art. Art is how the world views situations, basically.
Yes.
So it's like, and how an artist observes the situations is diametrically opposite to how the common world views it. So I think that difference, the distinction between both views, is something an artist needs to take care of. And artist needs to present a unique perspective and something different. I think that
Hmm.
is something which is work in progress. I can never say, even though I have
Yes.
been acting for the last 20 years, I can never say that I have learned it all. No, I am still
Yes.
learning. I am a work in progress. I am continuously doing work now, till my health permits, till till my sanity permits. Till then I will be working. Till then I will be acting. There is no expiry date for acting. Yeah.
I understand. True. And the Greeks used to call this divine discontent.
Yes.
That is the
Yes.
part, I think. I mean, that is something that is at the heart of all the creative arts, right? Then it is, I think, even more relevant today, as you said, with hybrid forms of art evolving and new genres coming into being. So we have to be even more mindful of sort of making, staying relevant and, you know moving to the next level of skill.
Correct.
Okay. So at one point in the interview, Sanjay asks Meghna why she did not ever participate in leaving a legacy, of imparting training or nurturing young talent. And she retorts that one can perhaps teach theatre as method, as technique, but never theatre in its true spirit, which is about cultivating the true human possibility and experiencing the entire range of human experience. So, to quote, she says, "अभिनय के तरीके तो कोई भी सिखा सकता है, कोई भी इंसान सिर्फ बात बढ़ा सकता है." And this is my favorite line in your entire book. So my question is, as an experienced theater director now, how far would you conquer in this view with your character Meghna in your own practice? So till now you were talking about experience as an actor. So now it's about you donning the hat of a theater director. So do you think theater can be taught?
This is it is a lovely challenge that I face, because conveying my vision, as far as theater is concerned, communicating my vision to my students is a challenge. It is not a very easy thing for people to understand, because when I say that, observe the world around you and try to understand the uniqueness of each and every person or each and everything that is present in the universe. This is a shift in the mindset. I am looking at a tree, but as an artist, how will I look at a tree? This kind of thoughtfulness, this kind of observation is something that I'm trying to inculcate in my students. It is different from the traditional method of education, and because I want them to experience the natural feeling, what comes, the natural observation. It's like, if I see an old woman on the street begging, what are the characteristics I will pick up, and what are the characteristics my students will pick up? There will be some difference in the observation. I want
True.
to point I want to take advantage of those unique observations and help the actors evolve as artists. Because I believe, like I have said, you can teach the principles of acting, but that observation needs to be your own.
Yes.
I am saying, okay, everybody in the world says sky is blue, but the sky can be some different color for me based on
Yes.
my mood, based on my emotion that I'm experiencing, or based on my evolution in thinking. The sky can be any color. So why should I limit myself to what has been stereotyped? I want my students, my actors to break that stereotypical thinking and really expand their imagination. Yeah.
So you believe that the mechanics of theater can be taught, but ultimately art is a deeply personal response to the world around you, and
Yes,
that
that's why
cannot be
I
taught. It
say.
has to be experienced
Yes,
for
that's
yourself.
why I say artists are born, not made.
Right? Absolutely. And if poetry does not come like the leaves of a tree, it had better not come at all.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Um, in your book, you describe the rasa theory in Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra in some detail. To quote, Yatho hasta tatho drishti, Yatho drishti tatho mana, Yatho mana tatho bhava, Yatho bhava tatho rasa. So, would you like to share your thoughts with us on this?
See, so there are nine rasas, navrasa जिसे कहते हैं.
Yes,
There are two basic emotions. When I was doing my research for the mind game, I realized that there are all psychology experts have said that there are two basic emotions, love and fear. All other emotions are a degree of love or fear. So basically, these nine rasas, navrasas, are the basic emotions or the degree of emotions that a human being experiences. For example, Shringar Ras. Shringar Ras is beauty. Now, what is beauty according to me may not be beauty according to you. So, how
yes,
do I perceive the Shringar Ras? How do I communicate the Shringar Ras? The difference in perception will bring out the difference in acting,
true.
right?
Yeah, something
Raudra
that you
ras,
just said earlier.
Raudra ras, anger. Now, anger can be expressed subtly, or anger can be expressed violently, or anger can be like you. It is an outburst where you throw stuff or you beat a person. So, how do you want to express your emotion? That is what Navrasa talks about. And Natya
Yeah,
Shastra also talks about that an actor or a dancer also, even a dancer, even even a dancer and an actor has to focus on these nine emotions, no rasa, in order to communicate the message to the audience.
so you need to be proficient in all the navrasas to be a consummate actor. Um,
So,
and
so
another thing I
Navrasa is basic the basic technique which is taught first in the first class of any theater workshop.
I
Navrasa,
see.
because unless and until you understand the degree of the emotion or
Yes.
the variance in all the emotions, you won't be able to express it through your face or your body language.
Also, you just spoke about Raudra Rasa, anger. If you look at the mythological archetypes, the Raudra Rasa of Shiva's anger and the Raudra Rasa when Durga is slaying the demon could be vastly different. So it could be the same rasa, but there could be two very, very different, very individual appropriations of the same rasa.
Yes.
um, and yeah, and another observation that I mean, another thing that struck me rather when I was reading is that when there's this theater workshop karyashala going on in in the book, Meghna chooses to perform Karun Rasa or Shoka Bhava. So it occurred to me, is it a kind of foreshadowing of what's to come in her personal life? Like of the experiences of betrayal, unrequited love, loss, lifetime of longing. When she loses the man she loves and becomes a recluse. So why Karun Rasa? She's a young, vibrant, vital young woman. Why do you think she chooses Karun Rasa in the story to enact? But there
So
should be some kind of
she
a tele, right, between you and the Rasa.
so she chooses Karun Rasa because it is a struggle for her to come to that workshop. So she has had to fight with her father to the extent that she had to
Being disowned.
like really rebel against her family
Yes.
and then go
Yes.
for the workshop. It is like already at such an age, at such a tender age, when you are like neither too adult, too much of an adult, nor you are a child. So what do? You have to take your decisions in life, but you are a bit skeptical about it. And at that time, if you do not receive family support, obviously your mind goes through a lot of turbulence at that time. That turbulence I wanted to show from the. That's why she chooses Karun Ras.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was wondering, and now that answers my question. Yes. Um, okay. So another interesting thing, Meghna in the book, she categorically foregrounds the role and contribution of the whole production team in making, a theater initiative successful. And it's just for her, it's just not about the show being, about the show of the actors who come on stage and the audience gets to see them. So as a practitioner who is intimately involved in the daily business of producing theatre, what are your experiences? I mean, your inputs in this regard.
Could you repeat the question? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, she talks about theatre as being, a process of teamwork. And it's just not a one man or a one woman show. And she highlights all the different roles that all the people backstage play to make the production seamless and successful. So you are somebody, I believe, who is involved in producing theatre, in planning theatrical productions. What are your experiences in this regard? Do you agree with Meghna? Do you think that
So,
teamwork is more important than?
huh. So I started my theater career uh, from backstage.
Okay,
My first production was helping backstage for Jagriti Theatre, directed by Arundhati Raja and Jagdish Raja. So I got to understand the dynamics of theatre, seeing everything, managing the backstage, and seeing everything from behind the stage. So basically, what happens is sometimes it gives you a complete overview of, okay, I as an actor will go out and perform my scene, but what else is required to make that scene alive? Because theater is a one take. Theater is one take. You just have to prove your act in one take. But
yes,
there are also accessories which make your act alive, right? You can't do it all alone. It is a good support team, a good production team, a good backstage team, a good technical light and sound team. That is a holistic experience. So
okay,
that why I stressed on production is because most of the modern actors nowadays say I want to act, but I don't want to learn backstage. I'm like, if you don't learn backstage, you will not know the nitty gritties of a theater production.
true,
What goes, how much, how much sweat and effort goes into staging a production. You have to learn the craft. I urge my actors to learn the craft in a holistic manner. Like, learn the whole thing, learn about all aspects of theater, not only acting, because acting is just one part. There are a lot of other parts like costume, set design, backstage, light, sound, promotions. Nowadays, promotions are very important. So an
Yes.
actor or an artist should be should be knowledgeable about these aspects as well.
Yeah, to get a complete overview of what goes into
Yes,
theater. And, they say it takes a village to raise a child.
yes.
So I think we can say the same thing about, and also if
Theater.
you look at a book, we think the author is the mover and shaker of the book. But if one gets into the nitty gritties of publishing, then we understand that, I mean, there are many other people and processes involved in
Definitely,
coming out with the book.
the editor,
Yes.
the cover designer, the printing press. A lot of people are involved in publishing a book.
So we have a birth mother and we have several surrogate mothers in the process of theater as well as bookmaking, as they say. Yeah. Okay. So now we come to the last question that I have for you, which is so as I was reading, um, I I thought that there were two parallel trajectories, of Meghna the performer and Meghna the woman. Uh, how do you think these two parallel pathways, how do they mutually shape each other, mold each other? I mean, do they meet? Do they ever merge? Do they clash and collide sometimes? Meghna the woman and Meghna the performer.
I think an artist can never be independent of her real self. Somewhere or the other, the real self will imbibe in the artist. The artist will imbibe the real self. Whatever you feel in the, or whatever is your philosophy in real life, that will be, uh, you will, as an artist, you will get attracted to such stuff, and you will be attracted to such scripts which are closer to your real self. Yes, I understand the challenge. The real challenge will be to take something which is opposite to your real nature. I have also done that in my theater career, but those roles have involved a lot of work. And when I used to prepare for such roles, I have seen a dramatic shift in my real life as well, because it used to have an impact on my life. So I think it is never possible to keep the artist and the real self. Like, you can't fake it, right? That's why it is
Yes.
theater. That's why it
Yes.
is theater. And it's
So
the
you're
one thing
constantly
for what. That's
referencing
why
out.
all directors say, feel the character. Feel the character. Because the character should be inside your soul. Then only it will come out on stage.
So you cannot entirely de-link yourself from the role, and yet you have to. So I think
Yes,
that balance, walking on a tightrope, if I may put it, is sort of
definitely.
like the challenge of theatre.
And that is the most difficult thing to teach young students nowadays.
That is why she said that theatre cannot be taught. Probably. Okay. Um, so we come to the end of our conversation today. Unless you would like to say something more, would you? Is there anything
No,
else you would like to
I
share with
would
the
just
audience?
I would just say that thank you for reading my book in such depth, and
It has been a
trying
pleasure.
in a bid to understand the book. You have really like asked me good questions, and you
Thank you.
tried to reveal the real self, which you have done very nicely. And I would say,
Thank you.
my message to the audience is, show your love to the book. Try to grab a copy on Amazon, and try and read it. I understand that every writer finds his or her audience in some time. Meghna has also found its audience, but it will be really a big pleasure, and I will appreciate if you can give me honest feedback about the book.
Is there I mean, can people email you to share feedback?
Yes, so my email address is author.devika@gmail.com, or you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and send me a direct message, chat message. I will be interacting with you. Yes.
Thank you so much, Devika. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mona, uh, for having us have this conversation and bare our souls to each other, which is, I think, the entire purpose of having a conversation in the first place. Thank you, dear members of the audience, for being with us. I know you're there with us, although we cannot see you. But yeah, and lovely evening, lovely conversation. And I so look forward to more of these conversations.
Thank you. I would love to interact with you further. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It would be a pleasure. It
Thank
would
you.
be a pleasure indeed. Thank you.